This is the first of a number of videos on 1971 that focuses on my favourite album tracks. This sort of series sort of walks side by side with the top 20 songs, which are meant to be single releases. But here it could be a mixture of singles released in the United States, of course I'm from the UK, or just lengthier songs from albums that I adore. Such a great year, of course. And I'm going to start off this appreciation of the best tracks from albums by going into some detail with regard to the track Riders on the Storm by The Doors, which appeared on the final album LA Woman, whilst the band were all together. It was released actually while Morrison was in Paris, and of course tragically he never returned, so it's effectively the last song that Jim Morrison sang for an album. Jerry Sheff, Elvis Presley's bassist, is added to this album, and along with rhythm guitarist Mark Beno. And Morrison sounds in extremely fine voice on the Riders on the Storm. The music is absolutely stupendous. Everything came together. All the Doors are together. It matches anything they ever did. And we have an utterly hypnotic piano solo, Rhodes piano. It's just beautiful. We have doses of brilliant guitar work from Krieger, and the keyboards continue, the bass continues, and Jim soars above it all in the clouds, in the heavens. Riders on the Storm, I dreamt the melody, he said. It appeared to me in my sleep. I probably shouldn't be saying that, should I? I dream of music. This Riders on the Storm, though, is one of the most dreamlike pieces ever created. It's a sheer work of genius. I can't help myself. I can't explain it really, but the rain cascades at the beginning as we ease into the arrangements, and this comes influenced by the arrangement on Ghost Riders in the Sky and the line Delicate Riders of the Storm, taken from Hart Crane's poem Praise for an Urn. The track melded Morrison's hitchhiking imagery from his own poetry projects. The faint ghostly backdrop heard throughout the song was the last recording of Morrison as a member of the Doors. According to guitarist Krieger and keyboardist Manzarek, it was inspired by that country song Ghost Riders in the Sky, a cowboy legend, which was written by Stan Jones and popularised by Vaughn Monroe. The lyrics were written and brought to rehearsal by Morrison, of which a portion of it refers to hitchhiker killer Billy Cockeye Cook, who was subject of the 1953 film The Hitchhiker. And Manzarek also noted that some of the lines express Morrison's love to his companion Pamela Coulson, and the rain cascades into the sound of thunder. So there we have it. On this particular track, Jim Morrison vocals and whispers, Ray Manzarek on Rhodes piano, Robbie Krieger electric guitar with tremolo, John Densmore on drums, and Jerry Sheff on bass guitar. And absolutely terrific. I'm now going to actually get into the lyric appreciation. So once again, quite a lengthy appreciation of this giant piece of music. Read the lyric first, and then there'll be some possible interpretation by the public and yours truly. Riders on the storm, into this house we're born, into this world we're thrown, like a dog without a bone, an actor out on loan. Riders on the storm. There's a killer on the road. His brain is squirming like a toad. Take a long holiday, let your children play. If you give this man a ride, sweet family will die. Killer on the road, yeah. Girl, you gotta love your man. Girl, you gotta love your man. Take him by the hand, make him understand. The world on you depends, our life will never end. Gotta love your man, yeah. Then there's the chorus. Riders on the storm, riders on the storm. Into this house we're born, into this world we're thrown, like a dog without a bone, an actor out on loan, riders on the storm. And then there's the outro, which just repeats, riders on the storm. So that's basically the lyric, and it, of course, it is now in front of you on a slide. Interpretation, I had quite a few interpretations, and of course I've referred to one, the Ghost Riders in the Sky, the cowboy song. Jim was working on a screenplay apparently for a movie at this time, and he used a lot of parts from his screenplay in the lyrics, and the movie is about a hitchhiker who kills people when they pick him up, kind of like The Hitcher with Rutger Hauer. General comment, this is one of the songs that got me into the Doors. Yeah, ditto. This song is about what life really is. We are thrown into this world alone. We have our false hopes, dreams and gods. We may have those around us. There are dangers and threats that can happen to anyone. And life is a storm that we are riding out. Another meaning put forward is you are born, you live and you die. Pretty matter of fact. Morrison hated the randomness of life and saw death as the only certainty. Thus, he emphasises with psycho killers who are compelled to kill in their efforts to garner control and order in their lives. Morrison was obsessed with the Ida Lupini movie, The Hitchhiker, about a sadistic psycho who's picked up by two holidaying business people. Being the misogynist that he was, it was up to women to help and comfort men as they rode the turbulent random storm of life. So there we are. If you've never heard this gem, then I suggest you look in the description and there is a link there so you can listen to it in all its glory. I've dug out on this 1971 great tracks is the track called The Musical Box from the Genesis album Nursery Crime. It's credited solely to Banks, Collins, Gabriel, Hackett and Rutherford, although it began as an instrumental piece written by Rutherford and the Genesis first guitar player, Anthony Phillips. It was later released as manipulation on the box set remaster. The lyrics are based on a Victorian fairy tale written by Gabriel about two children in a country house. The girl, Cynthia, kills the boy Henry by cleaving his head off with a croquet mallet. She later discovers Henry's musical box, and when she opens it, Old King Cole plays, and Henry returns as a spirit, but starts aging very quickly. This causes him to experience a lifetime sexual desire in a few moments, and he tries to persuade Cynthia to have sexual intercourse with him. However, the noise causes his nurse to arrive, and she throws the musical box at him, destroying them both. The album cover shows Cynthia holding a croquet mallet with a few heads lying on the ground. Collins unusually uses mallets on his drums. During the flute solo by Gabriel, he also plays oboe during the Old King Cole section. Banks and Rutherford both play 12-string acoustic guitars, while Hackett whispers melodic phrases with his Gibson Les Paul electric guitar during the Old King Cole section, before playing the lead electric guitar for the rest of the song. During his brief tenure with the band, Mick Barnard added some guitar parts towards the end of the song while in rehearsals, and Hackett kept both the guitar parts from Phillips and Barnard while adding his own pieces to the song. Musical, but I have to say that this is probably not just one of the great tracks of 1971. For me personally, it's one of my favourite tracks of all time. I just play it constantly, and I just love the vocal style by Gabriel and the way that the music is put together, and it's a lengthy piece, over 10 minutes long. Here's the lyric anyway. Play me, old King Cole, that I may join with you. All your hearts now seem so far from me, it hardly seems to matter now. And the nurse will tell you lies of a kingdom beyond the skies, but I am lost within this half-world, it hardly seems to matter now. Play me my song, here it comes again. Play me my song, here it comes again. And that is repeated. And now I've lost my space, so bear with me while I re-find the bit on here. Just a little bit more time left to live out my life. Play me my song, here it comes again. And then into the old King Cole was a merry old soul, and the merry old soul was he. And so he called for his pipe, and he called for his bowl, and he called for his fiddlers 3. But the clock tick-tock on the mantelpiece, and I want, and I feel, and I know, and I touch my warmth. Her warmth. She is a lady. She's got time. Brush back your hair. She's got time, for she's a lady. And let me get to know your face. She is a lady. She is mine. Oh, brush back your hair. She's mine. She is a lady. And let me get to know your flesh. I've been waiting here for so long, and all this time has passed me by. It doesn't seem to matter now. You stand there with your fixed expression, casting doubt on all I have to say. Why don't you touch me? Touch me. Why don't you touch me? Touch me. Touch me now. 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 And then now's repeated 10 or so times. Again, alongside my previous offering, Riders on the Storm. If you've not heard this, get to that link in the description and listen to it. And if you then aren't full of admiration and joy, there must be a slight problem. So that's my second track then, The Musical Box by Genesis from Nursery Crime. 18th choice is Changes by David Bowie, of course released on the 1971 album Hunky Dory in 1971. And it was released at the back end of 91, actually came out in the new year as a single, and following the promotional tour of America in 71. Recorded at Trident Studios, co-produced by Bowie and Ken Scott. It featured Strawbs member Rick Wakeman on piano and the musicians who would later become known as the Spiders from Mars, guitarist Mick Ronson, bassist Trevor Bolder and drummer Mick Woodmansey. The song also marks the first instance of Bowie playing the saxophone on one of his recordings. At this point in his career, Bowie had experimented with numerous musical styles, all of which failed to earn him stardom. The lyrics of Changes reflect this, with the first verse focusing on the compulsive nature of artistic reinvention and distancing oneself from the rock mainstream. The second verse concerns clashes between children and their parents, urging them to allow their children to be themselves as teenagers. It's a topic that Bowie had spoken out about before. Musically, very much an art pop song, features a distinctive piano riff. It was initially chosen as a B-side to Space Odyssey. It was also chosen as a B-side to Space Odyssey in 1975. It's regarded as one of Bowie's best songs, with many praising Bowie's vocal performance and Wakeman's piano playing, of course. His biographers have viewed the track as a manifesto of his entire career, predicting a constant change of musical styles. Bowie performed the song frequently during his concert tours, and ironically it was the final song he performed on stage before his death in 2016. A word about Wakeman, a noted session musician and member of the Strawbs, was asked to play and accepted. And he had previously played Meritol on Bowie's self-titled '69 album. So was quite involved in Bowie's early career development. Moving on a little bit, Bowie plays the saxophone solo on the final recording, and which he recollected was recorded when I was still going through ideas of using melodic saxophone. Bowie said the track started out as a parody of a nightclub song, a kind of throwaway. But after an "Oh Yay" from Bowie, piano and kick drum, 8 notes build anticipation before a distinctive riff begins, played by the piano, sax, bass and strings. The chorus features Bowie stuttering the ch at the beginning of the word "changes," which is very distinctive, and the piano-led track widely differs from the music found in Bowie's previous works. And as I said about the lyric, I'm going to have a good look at this lyric now. Okie dokie, here is the lyric in full for "Changes." Oh yeah, still I don't know what I was waiting for. And my time was running wild, a million dead-end streets. And every time I thought I'd got it made, it seemed the taste was not so sweet. So I turned myself to face me, but I've never caught a glimpse of how the others must see the faker. I'm much too fast to take that test. The chorus. Changes, turn and face the strange. Changes, don't want to be a richer man. Changes, turn and face the strange. Changes, just gonna have to be a different man. Time may change me, but I can't trace time. Oh yeah, I watch the ripples change their size, but never leave the stream of warm impermanence. And so the days float through my eyes, but still the days seem the same. And these children that you spit on as they try to change their worlds are immune to your consultations. They're quite aware of what they're going through. And then we have the chorus again. Changes, where's your shame? You left us up to our necks in it. Time may change me, but you can't trace time. Strange fascination, fascinating me. All changes are taking place, I'm going through. And then the final chorus, which is as follows. Changes, turn and face the strange. Changes, oh look out you rock and rollers. Changes, turn and face the strange. Changes, pretty soon now you're going to get older. Time may change me, but I can't trace time. I said that time may change me, but I can't trace time. And as mentioned before, the personnel, David Bowie, lead vocal, alto and tenor sax. Mick Ronson played guitar, also did the backing vocal strings arrangements. Trevor Boulder on bass guitar, Mick Woodman drums, Rick Wakeman on piano, and some other unknown musicians on a mixture of violins, violas and cellos. And so that, a rather lengthy 5.5 minutes on Changes, but I think you'll all agree it's such a great song, it deserved that accolade.